Okay, welcome here, welcome back, man. It's that guy, Flu as it gets. Uh, Before I get into this right now, I just want to go ahead and say, right off the bat, that I think that this is probably one of the best Giants games that I've seen played in a long, long while. I include both sides of the ball, offensively, defensive, the pass game, the run game, offensive front, or I'm sorry, the defensive front, and the even a defensive secondary in some ways, and a linebacking quarterfile within that too as well. Uh yeah, yeah, it's one of the best games I've seen played by the New York Giants in a long time. They were ringing off the stats, throughout the game from first half points scored to first half, pass yardage to um, total points scored against the Cowboys and such and all that and all those type of things. But within that still there were some things that just seemed to get in the way, as they were saying in the game, but not so much get in the way, really. Just some things that we came to discover as the teams tried to start doing, some more out there. Let's just put it like that. And from the results that were, I have to say coming out that they were really nice. It was really nice to see. It was automatically out the door. It wasn't no bullshitting around for the Giants. They were trying to put points on the board. Um, Came out in the first half. We received the ball in the first half too, so there was no time to be mucking about. But there were, as we'll go ahead and talk about now, it'll probably be a thing throughout this. Penalties were an issue today, and just penalties on penalties on penalties on both sides of the ball. Offensively, mad penalties. Defensively, mad penalties. And to kick it off, because I said, just a minute ago or so, that's one of the best games I've seen by the Giants played in a while, and that remains still. So I'm even going to include somebody like Hudson, who was out there, who would be the guy who came out at the start of the game, who might be a point, and the penalty yards he was picking up, false starts. It was weird because he definitely got out of the game a little bit, but coming out as ready to go as he was. Um, but just a little when the more like the false start penalties, what I really, fought most from him. So it was like two or three of those, and probably about three. And he was running whole plays, man. If they ain't blow the whistle, he might have kept going with the whole damn play. But other than that, man, it was still some penalties, other offensive players as well on offensive line. Even when he did come out, because he was ready to, he was hot, and coach pulled him out, team pulled him out. They did pull him out after the first quarter, pretty much. But who did fill in after that? I can't exactly remember, but pretty much the line played all well today for the most part. A lot of the pennies really were on the defensive side, playing against the talents they were playing against with the Dallas Cowboys today. But they played them pretty. I got no complaints. You see, this is what I'm talking about with the penalties now. I really don't have too many complaints with the penalties. There were tons and tons of penalties. Not all the penalties, of course. There's a lot of penalties. There's way too many penalties. But to play within those penalties, I can't, full out hold against the defense or the Giants or the coaching like that. I think they played tough. I think they played as hard as they played a while out there, especially with the offense showing up like it was. It definitely fed into the defense to get out there, especially early with two, three and outs to start of the game. Um, it just really amped up the defensive side of the ball. At least the offense might have even been ramped up from the defense coming out there once again and having those two, three and outs. It was really nice how the Giants came together on both sides of the ball to actually show up. And then the penalties, of course, was just bad. We had holding calls, we had pass interference calls, we had the one odd one on offensive lineman was like helmet contact basically. That was like another one of those odd ones that might have been on oh boy, but Um, is with the run game though. The run game showed up today. Before we even get to the pass game, the run game today. Damn Skattabo, man. Man showed up today. Did his thing. Tracy showed up, did his thing, man. Not much of Devin Singletary today, but we'll talk about the guys that showed up today. Would just be Skattabo and Tracy definitely showed up, and just the run game in general, much improved. Got to see some nice new plays ran in the offense that highlighted some of the talents. Um, Even like Jackson Dart came in for several plays, 3 plays, but one that was a big hitter for Skattabo in the game was a RPO handoff. We had ran it earlier, but Russ kept it, and this time Dart gave it to Cam Skattabo, and he took it with the middle for about 15, almost 20 yards, breaking some tackles, almost got into the end zone with it, stretching out. And again, it showed off some of his power in the running game, and it let him play a little more, get open with his speed at least, right? So we saw he's got some nice speed and everything like that. I watched a bit of him in Arizona State, right? Arizona State there for the Sun Devils. And yeah, he displayed much of the stuff that you saw today, or some of the good qualities I saw when he was out there playing for them. And his hands showed up a little bit. A couple of bobble catches, but he has good hands to catch stuff out of the backfield, things like that. And the power's on display in the run game, like I said. And he can do a lot. So if you see him doing some other things as well, don't be surprised to see him doing outside of just running and catching the ball. To be real with you. Um, what else? Yeah, and then with Tracy, we had some good plays. He was on special teams also as well. I don't know if Oz kick returner, if what happened with him, because he was Ozinski. I can't say his name correctly right now. We started out with him, and I don't know what happened with that, but Tracy started getting most of the returns, and decent returns, getting up to about the mid 30 yard line, about 35, almost 40 yard line. So the special teams today on the kick return was doing good because points were flying on the board throughout the game. So Dallas was scoring, we were scoring. Dallas was scoring, we were scoring. We stopped Dallas, they stopped us, we scored, and this game went on and on. And that's why I can't sit here. And even though I predict this one as a victory, I can't, or predict a guesstimation this one as a victory. I can't really walk away too upset about what I saw today. It was definitely much more explosive in the pass game, producing in the run game. Um, regardless of what the line play was, the line grades could come out to be whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? But you can see what you can sometimes do with just a line. All right, people just stand in front of her and be ready to block and do their job and stuff. And so it worked out well there today. Just in general for the past game and offense, everything today was really solid. Outside of the penalty things, I mean, it was a lot of big bomb plays with the moon ball. It was a full moon today. Yeah, it was definitely full moon. Um, with Russ, he was sending them up, and they was when the moon said it was 6 on the board, man. Pretty much that's how it was going. Wan'Dale Robinson, a great game from him, especially of people who have kept track of him as he was here, man, in the short yardage game, and some of the times he might have been open on a deep route and might not have got the ball thrown to him, or really more of just how we ran him and used him in the past game for the short game. So now they're trying to explore some other stuff. He's always had type of speed. He's not slow. He's not anything. He's quick, fast, and in a hurry with it. So and he was down the field and he was smoking them. Coverage, busted coverage, be damned. Making some great catches down there as well. Ball tracking. He did miss one. You see as he was coming back, he just couldn't even see it. But yeah, everybody in the past game today. Theo Johnson as well. Great game from Theo Johnson today, making some crossing route catches off the line, good intermediate route stuff, 8 yards plus upfield, heading up there. And Malik Neighbors, awesome game from Malik Neighbors as well. I have this between Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale, who had the better game of the receiving group. I don't think that's an argument that needs to be made right now. I don't even care because both of them and they both had spectacular games. And Russ, they benefited from the passing game and Russ having a just a career game for himself. They really benefited from that. So and everybody who was there to benefit pretty much ate, man, even down to Darius Slayton, even though he didn't have as much of a reception or target count really, but still made very productive catches on what he did have in his 2 or 3 receptions for about 60 yards. Man, and I mean, Malik had 170 something, maybe more at the end of the game, 180 something. Wan'Dale 150, 145 or 7-ish, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it was just the pass game was all over, and the offense was just all over today. The penalties. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball, which is probably just the most another. Like I could talk about either one and be just excited and impressed with what played out today on the field. Outside of the penalties, of course, but front seven, man. Burns is out there doing his thing, man. Brought him in last year. He's starting to show some of that now. He's bringing it. He's bringing the heat. Kayvon out there doing it, man. He's got sacks coming in for himself. He's got pressure, lots of pressure, some run stop coming in, a couple of good run stopping plays from Kayvon as well. Um, and there, he's always putting that size into good use because he still has some of the same speed. He hasn't really lost much of that in there at all, really, I would say. And the extra bulk is really playing out for him. And some of the experience is hopefully starting to come together for him as well. Uh, and so a good game from him, another good game from him. Burns, the standout today as far as the edge guys, and then with Carter here, he probably, these are the things sometimes what happens with these stat counts and the ratings and grades players might get or whatever else. But as far as like not being something that was a stat filler, it was actually a very, very big impact during the game with Carter. A lot of Kayvon and both Burns, production can be contributed to what Carter was doing as well with the pressure, to include Dexter Lawrence as he's working into what, he's now 4-2 on the edge, you know what I'm saying? And not, he has to make that play, but now he can make that play still and maybe even now start to trust more um, in it to make even more plays, as it comes together now with it. The rotation was really, really on fire today. It looked like old school NASCAR at some points. I ain't even gonna lie. And they were citing stats from 2000 as far as like 0-2 teams to start out in the season and actually make it into the playoff. And we already know what that meant when that was Eli. So yeah, so it's 0-2 now. Let's talk about the loss right quick. Um, it is, but it's back to defense here. Yeah, just on fire, man. The front seven was on fire. Bobby Okereke was making some great tackling moves out there. We lost Harrison Sal early point of the game, first half, just maybe through the first quarter, and he was playing, coming on, but he was playing well, and he went down. Well, now he's down, and McFadden is down as well. But they had some, whoever came in and filled there did well. The defense still was good, mostly. The run against the run, there were some things that opened up toward the later half of the game where they might have been a little more gassed. I'm gonna say they were even gassed throughout the game. They really played well because they played into overtime here as we go through this. But yeah, everything there in the secondary here is where a lot of the penalties really came into play, perhaps because there was a few on the roughing the passer, which is whatever. And one especially was egregious. I can't remember who it was. I'm trying to think of his name right now, but he came in for a play and he did not land on Dak. He didn't. I don't know. They want them basically parkouring over the quarterbacks whenever they go to sack them. Now you got to parkour, and then you got to like tackle the quarterback and parkour again to get out because you can't do anything to the quarterback that would seem natural to the game of football. So you got to do some unnatural shit out there for them to give you a sack and not give you a flag on top of it. Wow. Um, yeah, the secondary though, here Flott, I think played a good game. Again, he's challenged with some of the premier guys here. Like George Pickens is not just some slouch. He's came from being a number one receiver, maybe not in the best offense at the time type receiver, and and had to do some growing through some of his frustrations. But he's always been like a nice, good, very good, nice premier type talent out there. So with along with the secondary and playing some more physical defense as they were with Phillips and making some great tackles. There's another thing about the secondary is even though with the flags that they were picking up on some of the passing things, they were making really, really great tackles in the run game and just tackles in general. I thought was above what we've seen um, to open up previously. Even though the defense has been like playing fairly well to fairly good to starting to get pretty nice over the last season or so. But today, especially, I thought um, tackling was really on point through most of the game, except for a few key points that might have swung the game in a certain ways. But ultimately, I don't think really spelled out how this game came down in general because of the penalty amounts. We had damn near 200 yardage worth of penalties. It felt like early 160. So I don't even know. It'd be up here. Um, yeah, it was penalties on penalties on penalties, and that was the start of the game. And we still managed to stay productive in the pass game and the run game and not let them bog us down. A lot of that again can be just to the career types, but like spectacular game. Russell Wilson did have 4 or 5 touchdowns, only one interception, over 500 yards, nearly 500 yards. And then that was just to end the game. And we lost or we tied the game against the Cowboys here on that 65-yard kick. And that's the way things a lot of times played out for the Giants when it comes down to one possession games is those, especially in the NFC East here against the Eagles. It could be the Commanders, it could have been the Eagles. It could have been because it was today the Cowboys. It wouldn't matter us losing the field goal game like that to tie it up even. But and then in the overtime, we gave him the ball, which is fine. It was a good move, I think, especially with the offense and defense were playing. I didn't feel like oh, we made the wrong choice and not getting the ball ourselves. I was comfortable with the defense being out there and being able to stop them, and they did. We had a turnover earlier in the game too. I was kind of waiting on is what we probably needed, and it came very, very, very close to that. Even though a quieter game that Dex might have in some areas, he almost was there to make that play at the end of the game on a batted pass from Dak on a pass rush game, getting there. They was there all game. They was there all game. If they didn't get all the sacks, they was there all game for the pressure, really high pressure rate. Um, I'd be interested to see what Dallas O-line is graded like in comparison to ours. That's how crazy it was out there during the game for Dak sometimes. Um, because they were at it, man. Burns, Kayvon, Carter, Dax. There's names out there. I'm like Nunez is not out there, but somebody else is out there who has a hyphen name. I can't remember right now. He was out there too and making plays. And again, the linebacking core was doing their thing as well. And the secondary to tackling, run support tackling was great. The run only gassed a few times, but many of the times, man, they were getting some tackles for losses. Bobby Okereke, plenty of tackles that were of great value to what the team was doing out there. I don't know how the people feel about them. Um, yeah. What else? It was a crazy game. It was a crazy game. I sat through it, play after play, man. And every time we got the ball back, it just felt like, yeah, we had a chance to score. We did. We honestly had a chance to score pretty much every time we got the ball today. And it just felt like that. At least we didn't come with points every time, but it wasn't like we were giving up points to Dallas like that when we weren't, right? Because they didn't get away from us. I think what really kind of funny to fade out in the points factor, of course, would probably be that we could never get up by that. We weren't up by that 4 points that Dallas was in comparison to us because we get up by 3. When we come back and hit them back, we'd be up 3 instead of 4. Or as opposed to maybe if they couldn't have gone for that field goal at the end and we were up 4, that this game might have been a little different. But it is what it is with that. So I said it was gonna be a win myself. Came back as a loss. We take that L. Kansas City is looking kind of, whatever right now. So as far as the win losses, maybe we can get that back. But as far as the play, it is what I was expecting to see if we were going to be winning the football game, and we damn near won it today. Um, really impressive game. Coaching. Let's get to the coaching a little bit, right? The coaching here, try to get through this. I think they both handled the penalties well. They were coming in, but he didn't go full red in the face, and he grinded through those. He just kept calling out the plays. Him and Kafka kept dialing up the plays, kept letting Russ see what he was seeing out there, and it was working. And it worked out today as far as getting things back into a feel good. Um, Kind of flow and vibe as to what they can potentially be doing against other teams as the season goes on. Plenty of games left. Um, yeah, yeah. So it was good because in the preseason, it just and what we came out with week one, it just didn't make no sense to really expect to see that. The point totals should be a little better, and they were today. Defense, it just had to get used to the deep offense scoring so many points now. They used to keeping the game super close over time, and now they got to kind of adjust to, oh shit, they're scoring so much that we're back out there, and that's not saying anything about stop doing what we're doing right now. No, no, no. Next week we need to come out and we need to keep up this good play. That's the talent because their talent played outside their body today, man. They was really playing really great football. Even taking into their penalties because there was some tough covers out there. Um, but again, man, Phillips came up with the interception. We needed another turnover, really, to really stamp it home for us. It came close. Even in overtime, that'd probably be the one turning point, right? If we're going to say something that, okay, we should have won this game, is when we stopped them on that first um, the initial kickoff in overtime, and we pretty much put them in a 3-and-out, and there was some penalty on that drive as well that gave him just wipe the slate clean for him for the drive or for that play. But yeah, I can't say that I'm disappointed for what they showed. Um, I don't know how we're going to judge the coaching on the defense. Like I say, man, they understood what type of game they had to play today, and that's something that has been missing from from the Giants for a little while now. Is a little more moxie, a little more edge to it, a little more risk factor to it. Maybe I don't know. They're a clean face organization as far as what we're presented as and everything, which is no problem with that. But what I'm saying, the field is different. You know what I'm saying? It's not the nicest game on the field. So if guys are tugging and grabbing and tugging, and they're grabbing and tugging sometime, we don't excuse the thingy from old man Hudson, oh boy, early in the game there, he was a little crazy there, man. But getting control of himself, the guy kind of slipped too, so he maybe would hit him in the shoulder pads if he didn't slip, but you got to be in control as you're going through that and stuff like that. But yeah, Andrew Thomas wasn't out there. Found out he wasn't going to be out there, at some point in the game, and that's what that was. Um, yeah, I think that covers pretty much anything I could say about this game right now. That there is because there's no real around this game. Some people again might feel a little different. I should maybe feel different because we lost, right? Now I do feel different because we lost because we didn't play as clean of a game as we need to play as far as the penalties, and more so that in that overtime that we did not seal what we had going there. Maybe been some of the mix up play. I think what I say as I close out this, like when we got towards that end of the fourth and into that overtime a little bit, we did kind of not the players themselves, but maybe the play calling decide to get just a little tighter, just to try to minimize some of the penalizing mistakes. But you know, don't take too much from what the talent is doing out there right now. If they're really playing football out there at the same time. But I'm not gonna say that really came into that like that. But as far as that overtime, it'd probably be my one thing I said, like, man, we that's probably where we should have won it, especially after um I can't think of his name right now, but he had made the kick, 65 yarder, and you can't give him another kick like that in Dallas. another kick like that. So you even there, that's when you have to really end the game. I think it's probably what it was for us there. Yeah, tough loss. Can take this one. Um, look forward to Kansas City. Is there anything they could really change to improve other than just cutting out penalties, right? And getting a little more foundation in secondary to lessen the penalty calls while still being tight coverage, tough coverage, physical coverage, and whatever else. So they can display the talents, man, and feel like they're in the game. The game, oh, I can't take it, the whole game, you know. And Dallas was getting a couple penalties on us too. They weren't the only ones doing it. We weren't the only ones doing it. It's just that we were doing it way excessively to a point where it was like, wow, man. But again, a good game overall from the Giants today. Yeah, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think as far as this video right now, close as get. Hope y'all was cool with that. You know, got anything to say about that? Go ahead and say it, man. I do want to say quick thing I said at the beginning, but it's also show appreciation to everybody that's recently been coming through here, any subscribers, anything like that. You know, thanks for all that good stuff. Appreciate that, likes and everything. Um, just trying to get through the season, man. And yeah, it was a tough one. I don't know how I just don't feel it's a loss, right? If it was a win, I'd be up and like, yeah, that was the game. So, but the loss and the production just can't make me feel as down with the L. Yes, we're 0-2. It could mean ended the playoffs. Jackson Dart was down there. He at least touched the field, so that's something. But you gonna take Russ off the field next game? And you're not gonna go, or you're not gonna open the game up without Russ not being on the field. Only time where Russ really played today were outside, that one interception and maybe a couple other things, but he played the pocket well. He was throwing out of the pocket well. Is they were winning at spread at one point, and Russ had the lane right in the middle of the field, and he took off. And he took off, man, but he only takes so far off, man, because he's like 30 some odd years old. And maybe you could have saw Jackson Dart out there running at that point and having like, you know, a few more yards, 15, 20 more yards. He could have been gone because he had a lot of room. But that's the only thing I'm not impressed from this game myself, man. I think he played an excellent game. The moon ball was there. He was letting it loose, and the receivers were all making plays today. He was not short arming anything like that. Arm was loose. Was on fire today um, for Russell Wilson. Yeah, and then the run game, man. Skattabo, quick game. This is super long. Okay, I think I'm done, right? Okay. Peace, man.